which means using physical space well, right? So my incentives are actually kind of different, right? We need to put spaces to use because they are part of how we build communities, right? So it's a different thesis around impact investing in my mind. It's because we're not doing this to maximize profit at all costs, hence the drive to go fully remote so you don't have to incur any of these expenses. It's actually the opposite. We want you to put spaces to use responsibly because we need like a West Baltimore Main Street. We need economic activity to happen and we need to incentivize that as best as we can.
And we're back with another episode of Why Y'all Working. I'm one of your hosts, Alerje.
I'm Michael Ogusanya.
And we have the amazing Jay here with us. And Jay, thank you again for joining us today. This has been a great first segment. We had a great first segment of Why Y'all Working. This second segment, we kind of want to get into a little bit more of the deal analysis side of things, tap into more of your VC perspective, as well as your entrepreneur mindset perspective. So, Michael, I will let you go ahead and take care of that and take it away.
Awesome. It's Monday. It's your group call. An analyst comes to the room and says, I have this deal I've met at a trade show. They described, and the CEO described the work they do. The CEO seems like a great person, is a diverse founder, and has goals of bringing his business to Baltimore. They've heard and they feel like they're aligned with Ignite Capital. And here's the company. Let us know what you think about it. It is a large biotech company based in Boston that promises to provide Black beauty products at a discounted rate, focusing on a large amount of marginalized communities. They have unclear testing practices with animals and have previously partnered with Brand X. That Brand X has had lawsuits over the past 20 years around hair relaxers causing damage towards Black women and other consumers. How do you evaluate? Questions do you have?
So because again, not venture, impact investing, nuance there is that with the way I think about evaluation, I lead first with good in society, followed by how much money you're going to make me, right? So that was some triggers in that one, right? It's the not clear about testing practices, partner with a company that's had some lawsuits. That would be the first trigger for me, right? Because every opportunity can be great, but if it's an opportunity that's going to cause harm, then I just wouldn't be interested to begin with. So it's not an automatic no, it's let's dig into that a little bit more. Part of the due diligence starts immediately with the societal risk, right? Because I would not want my funds going to something that may proliferate that. Part of it also is this idea that, you started off by saying large company and you said promises to create jobs for certain communities. I would be looking to say, what's that promise on? Does that mean when you get to Baltimore, you're going to do it? But if you haven't been doing it for a while, to get to the place of being large, what is your track record already doing it where you are? Right? Because often what we don't want to hear is that, I'll use your money to do the impact. We've been around for a while. It's either in your heart or it's not. Right? So, there are a couple of triggers there. Now, I imagine if I put a venture hat on, I might have a different answer. But there's a reason I'm not in venture because I don't want to lead with profitability first. So for the sake of Baltimore, for the sake of the work that I do, I would start with those things first before I have a look at any balance sheet or any P&L or any pro formas at all. Because for me, harm is a non-starter.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of people, when they're investing in stocks or looking at crypto, they look at the profit. They might not look at the energy or the people that are providing the resources. So you're saying no matter what the financials are, they could partner with Ulta. But until they have a clear and tangible either improvement or plan to improve their, ESG, the good that they do in a community, it's not something you're interested in.
It's not, and don't get me wrong. I'm also all about bringing opportunities to Baltimore. So the diligence process of financing doesn't start. But we can start a relationship about how to get there. So we can start exploring these things. And it may require that I say, hey, let's partner you with this organization in Baltimore. If you really, really want to grow a workforce that's more diverse in Baltimore, let's partner you with some folks. You can go meet with them and you can see if there's really a talent opportunity here, or you're going to have other hurdles internally that may prevent you from that thing that you thought you wanted to do, right? We got to go unpack that a little more. I would want to make sure the lawsuits are contained and can't find it snowball its way here. And then the testing is just a matter of digging in a little bit more. So I think the idea is not now, but to get to a yes, we're going to clean some of these things up, right? Because it could be really exciting, but I need to know that you're going to create the jobs for the right people and not hurt people in the process. But that's critical for me. And I think we have to be mindful. Again, faith plays a role here. We're stewards of resources. As good stewards, we should be careful and mindful about not causing harm with the things that we've been entrusted to steward. And I firmly believe in that, right? Like, am I checking my 4K plan every day to see what the spread is and how it's being managed? No, right? I'm not that disciplined, right? But I do know that the fund I run, I promised a thesis to the investors in that fund. And part of what I promised was do no harm. So therefore, I have a responsibility as a steward of their resources to do no harm. So personally, I'm glad that my work aligns with my personal beliefs, so I can start affirming that. I don't have investors who are going to be like, whoa, why wouldn't you do that deal? If they were there, they wouldn't be in our fund. I can tell you that much.
Gotcha.
Go for it.
I was going to ask a quick question about, you mentioned this thing about good to society, and like, how do you measure that? I know you touched on it maybe, and those maybe some of the concepts that you talked about, right? In terms of just making sure that, they're not doing any intrinsic evil or bad, doings to the community. But how else would you measure the good to society that a company, that may be brought to you, or even this one, generates to, I guess, your fund, but maybe even multiple communities? And how would you measure that?
Yeah, I mean, there are a number of things, right? So one, it's the types of the product or the service can't cause harm. That starts there, right? And we generally know what products or services can, like, don't make promises you can't keep about whatever it is you're selling to people, right? Like, we know a snake oil salesperson when we see them and what they're trying to sell. And then we back up from that. And then you say, now the workforce you're going to create, besides the impact the product or the service will have. Are you paying people well? Are you making sure that the people that are going to work for you to help produce that thing are going to be taken care of in the process, right? Like, I want founders to be successful. I want them to be able to take care of their families. I want them to build wealth for themselves. Well, you're not going to do that by extracting from your own employees in the process. That in itself is causing harm, because that means an inequitable distribution of the revenue and the income that's coming into the business. I mean, there's a risk for being a founder, and you should be compensated for that risk, but not to the point where you start, like, when your own employees can't feed themselves. That's a problem, right?
Got it, for sure.
That's another piece. And then there is then the local economic impact, right? Like, are you creating more jobs for the community, right? Now, that's a little tougher, because there are some jobs where you may have to outsource, and I get it, but let's not use expediency and being cheap to just outsource everything and not create jobs locally either, even though you're paying well. So there's the individual level in company, Baltimore, local economy, and then the product or the service itself are different layers of thinking about that, the impact piece.
Appreciate it. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I just want to highlight something you said, Jay, in your response earlier. You said that for the LPs, aka the people that gave money into this fund, they decided to. You didn't hold their feet to the fire. You said, if you're going to put money into this fund, you have to agree to this term. By creating these mutually, responsible relationships between an LP and either a managing director or chairman, you are implementing like social good within, like you said, the funds that you administer. I think, and I'm sure you see this, a lot of investors are like, my LP says we didn't figure that out. And that just gives them like a precursor to saying no to a lot of great deals. But if you're intentional about who you bring to the table, and even if it's not who you bring to the table, it's what terms you're going to provide for the people that are going to put capital in. It can provide just this almost snowball of good. So I love that.
Yeah, and whatever it's worth, we are open about that with the people folks we fund, right? And because again, a lot of this is like, how do we change our relationship to money and finances, right? Like, I think, and this is some of the deeper challenges with capitalism. In some ways, it will work when we talk about the American dream, the ability to pursue and earn, right? But sometimes we have this lopsided relationship where it's like, at all cost, I must win, and I must win by taking everything, right? And that is an unhealthy dynamic. And what I love about the relationship we have with the investors in our fund is this is not charity. They want their money back, right? But they also recognize that they have a diverse investment portfolio. They have other investments that are going to bring them market rate returns and do all those other things. And quite frankly, they may invest more money over there than in me. And I'm fine with that. It's just that with me, we need to be sure that we are pursuing something together. And that is incredibly important to make sure that we're on the same page, because when we're not on the same page, like you said, it then falls on the founders who then are like, wait, who are you? And what do you do? And what are you supposed to be doing? I thought you were for me and maybe not. And don't get me wrong, we've gone through that in solidifying our own identity and who we want to be. And I think it's a journey in itself. And I think the more, especially as fund managers, the more we are transparent about that journey, the better founders appreciate the challenge in somebody who manages a fund. Because often, especially if it's a fund managed by a person of color, we're sitting in this gray space, which right, you're like you're filling a gap where you're holding the tensions of relationships in the world between folks who have enough to put into a fund and the folks who need it to build the next thing. And that is a sacred space to be in. I think we have to respect that.
Shoulders of giants. There's going to be hopefully a lot more people like you, a lot more rising people that can, like you said, toe that line. But hopefully that gray space becomes either smaller or bigger to their benefit.
Absolutely.
So let's jump into this next scenario. Again, we're presenting this to Jay live. We've given him some details before, but if you know me, I'm gonna throw a wrench into the plan and add some more details.
Yeah, I didn't see any this anyway, so it's all new. So go for it.
All right. So next opportunity at let's say Baltimore event hosted by a Baltimore organization, a founder directly approaches you and says, I already read your website. I already know exactly what you do. I want to go through your deal flow process. I want to start sharing data rooms and really evaluate us as a serious business. Who they are is a 20-year established Main Street business. They have an amazing place. It's about 3 stories high in a great location. And they're providing both upskilling, and temporary residency to returning citizens and neurodiverse veterans. These are people that are often marginalized. These are people that want and are looking for an opportunity. And this Main Street business has given them a place to stay, as well as, again, tools and workshops to help them matriculate into being beneficial members of the society, whether that's through technicians, any skills outside of, an accredited university. They are looking specifically for capital for rent. Rent has increased a lot in their space. They already have a plan. They already know how to pay the people that are providing the upskilling workshops, but they want to come to Innovation Works and Ignite Capital for the capital for them to stay in business and continue this model.
Yeah, I mean, that's like speaking my lung language. You got veterans, you got neurodivergence, you got Main Street, you got upskilling, you got workforce. I mean, that's an ideal impact story. It has all the things checked. The place that they're in, the Main Street, probably in the neighborhood that I would love for them to be in, right? The type of jobs they're going to create are for demographics for society folks are often forgetting, right? That's important. They're creating meaningful work, is my hope. Not just jobs that people don't want to do. They're creating meaningful work that's designed for those folks. That's important. I hope they're paying well. That's important, right? So, I mean, the impact lights just check. The nature of our fund, this is where, so that I mentioned that we try to take away all some of the typical barriers that people have to accessing capital, like credit checks, and we don't do any of those things, personal guarantees, we don't do any of that. We are investing based on relationships. So that person is saying, hey, I need this right now. And I'm probably going to say, I love what you're doing. I would love to work with you. But let me first hand you off to the Innovation Works team. Because the Innovation Works team will dig a little bit deeper, right? With mentors and advisors and say, all right, let's look at the numbers now, right? What's the business model? Do the unit economics make sense? Are you charging the right thing for the services you're providing, right? What is your history so far? Do you have recurring clients? Or what we have to then look under the hood, right? Do we feel like this founder is in it for the right reasons? It sounds like they are, because they've designed an organization that looks that way. But we get a feel for that too, because really for us, again, that's the relationship, the authentic relationship that we're looking for. And then they get over to Ignite Capital. That's not going to take a year. It takes, I don't know, some people it's a month, some people 6 months. It depends on what we find under the hood. But we want to make sure that before they come to the Ignite Capital side of the house, they've gotten a chance to work with the Innovation Works team. I think that's it's not a limiting factor. It's a limiting factor for founders. For us, it's by design, because we're not a front door to capital. We're not a bank, right? You can't just show up and apply for funding. You are at Innovation Works. You're building a relationship for a short period of time, a long period of time. And then you get sent over when they feel like you're ready. So I would love to work with that person, but I would say build a relationship in Innovation Works first. Now, if it's an emergency situation, we have other tools for that. Maybe to pick up the phone and call someone at a different institution and say, hey, they're in an emergency, you need 3 months gap, while we work with them to figure out what we can do. We have a small grants program that I may be able to tap into to say, hey, use this to cover the next 2 months while we figure out due diligence. There are other tools that we have, but to get to our investment committee requires some of the other things in there.
And so how do you balance? Because what I shared is that owner is going to use, let's say 95% of that money for rent, not for anything that's going to, produce an ROI outside of the space, and maybe 5% just directly to salary.
Yeah, I mean, it's all working capital, right? Like you need, unless you're telling me they're wasting money on rent, it feels to me like the real estate they have is core to the business model, right? There's residents in there. They need the space. And you've said that they all have already identified potential revenue streams to help cover their expenses, right? So the message there is, yeah, whatever it takes to keep the business going, to keep the impact going. I don't care what you use the money for, as long as I can see it helping you grow your impact and doing the thing that you wanted to do. We don't get caught up on uses of funds unless it's crazy, right? Like if you tell me, I had an idea yesterday and it's a massive tech company and I need $500,000 right now to go build it. That's a different conversation. I'm not giving you $500,000 for an idea you just came up with yesterday. That's crazy, right? But for somebody who already has traction, they've been paying their rent, there's some level of growth, and they just need to be working capital to bridge until they get to the opportunities, then that's the easy stuff, honestly.
I appreciate that. I brought that up because I've seen, maybe pre-COVID, the word R&D was, I think it was 40%. That was the standard pre-seed seed round of your entire round. 40% goes to R&D. And then now people hate the word marketing. You have to have a very clear funnel.
Yeah. And
then, of course, real estate. A lot of investors, or I'm sure to this day, if you say this much is going towards, an office or X place, they'll question why not go remote. So it's
so let me offer this. The impact investing side of me is about growing Baltimore's economy. To grow Baltimore's economy, I need people out in offices because then they can buy lunch from the restaurant next door. And then they can go to the coffee shop, and then they can go to the laundromat, and then they can go to the daycare. If everybody's remote, we're losing the economic value, right? So my incentive is to bring people into community, which means using physical space well, right? So my incentives are actually kind of different, right? We need to put spaces to use because they are part of how we build communities, right?
Wow.
So it's a different thesis around impact investing in my mind. It's because we're not doing this to maximize profit at all costs, hence the drive to go fully remote so you don't have to incur any of these expenses. It's actually the opposite. We want you to put spaces to use responsibly because we need a West Baltimore Main Street. We need economic activity to happen, and we need to incentivize that as best as we can.
Amazing. Thank you. This was awesome to discover and talk through those dynamics. I want to talk a little bit more on what you said, and feel free to go in as much detail or as little detail as possible. But what are some of the core thinkings or North Star that you believe Baltimore possesses? Are you looking at places like near Holland's Market? Are you looking at north or south of Druid Hill or Druid Park? Where and how are you approaching the geography of Baltimore with Innovation Works and Ignite Capital?
Yeah, so I should start by saying we support entrepreneurs who have a heart for the city and want to grow the city's economy equitably across all neighborhoods, and because most neighborhoods need help, right? So we don't pick and choose our investments based on neighborhoods. That said, Innovation Works has a neighborhoods strategy that says there are specific neighborhoods where we've chosen to go deeper in our relationships. And we want to be able to identify businesses that already exist in those communities and support them. And as they're thinking about the future of their communities and they identify future needs, we then can help say, hey, I know an entrepreneur is already doing that thing. Do you want them to come to your neighborhood? We can help attract, we can help incentivize, right? We can use our fund to say, hey, I'll give you a lower interest rate if you take a chance on that building right there because we know somebody needs to put it to use. So we can use our fund to incentivize good things. So right now, our energies on the neighborhood side at West Baltimore, Southwest Baltimore, Cherry Hill are really the 3 areas we focused on. And that's not because there aren't opportunities of things happening in other areas. We've invested in a business, the first Black-owned CrossFit gym on Greenmount Avenue by 33rd Street. That's important to us. We invested in Urban Oyster in Hamden. It's a Black woman-owned oyster restaurant. That's important to us. But this idea around economic development speaks to and quite frankly, growing and retaining Black wealth in Baltimore. You can't do that scattershot, because when everybody's all over the place, and then you finally are a founder who's made a little bit of money, and you look around your neighborhood, and it's just you, we might lose you anyway, right? So the vision really is, how do you have West Baltimore where you still have a majority Black population, and that majority Black population has a functional economy for themselves, because we've convinced this entrepreneur to move their business here, this entrepreneur to buy a house here, right? And all of a sudden you start, that's the vision, right? It's like, because when you have the dollar circulating in the community in that way, there's a stronger chance of retaining the wealth in the city as opposed to losing it. So this cluster hyper geographic focus is one way of doing that. But we know there are opportunities across the city, and we're not going to not invest in the opportunity across the city because West Baltimore, and the way our staff is designed kind of tells that story. We have folks who support entrepreneurs across the entire network, and then we have one full-time staff member for the neighborhoods only. And that full-time staff member is a bridge to the neighborhoods to bring people into the bigger system so that we can support them differently. So we serve all.
Yeah, I mean, that intentionality is huge because, this East versus West, concept was a huge thing, bigger than, at least what I knew. I'm sure you saw, oh, you're from East, no way we're going to work with you because we're from West. And
I mean, I was one of the first entrepreneurs we invested in is an early childhood education center. She's from the West Side, right? She's right there. She grew up in a neighborhood called Fayette Street, outreach center right by the old, now Grace Medical Center, but old Bon Secours Hospital. But life took her to the East Side, and she launched her business on the East Side over Bel Air Edison. But her dream is to open up a business in a home community where she grew up in, right? So she's going to expand to the West Side at some point, right? But, people like her should be able to dream to place their business anywhere in the city, no matter where they come from. And with people deserve an opportunity to do that. So enough of all that, because talent is flowing back and forth, and we lose ourselves by restricting ourselves with these things. And don't get me wrong, you invite me all the way out east to past Morgan, I got to spend a night bag, because that's Wakanda for me at this point, right? I'm on Win Oak. I'm on the other end of Northern Parkway. I still have my days where I'm still complaining about going all the way to Wakanda, but to East Wakanda.
Over East, over Wakanda.
I have my days when I complain about it, but no, I think, a unified city is better for all.
100%. A ton of talent, a ton of opportunity, and like you said, a ton of potential consumers all exist within Baltimore. You're the first person that is an impact investor to be on our show. So it's amazing to hear how you are okay or how you think about saying no to certain opportunities, how you think about saying yes to uplifting communities. It's inspiring, to say the least, and something I think, Alara, you and I can say are inspired to hear. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to be glad to hear as well. You've highlighted a lot of great businesses, and we really appreciate you for that. Please, we'll give you the chance to say how people can get in touch with you, any businesses or events coming up to highlight, just so that we can bring a lot of attention to the work that you're doing here.
Okay, so right now we're just trying to wind down, just get some rest over the holidays. We have a series of things happening in the new year that we're gearing up for. Things that also happened this year too, but last year in the spring-ish, early summer, we launched a neighborhood economics lab that we'll do again next year in 2025. And the idea was to bring stakeholders that were interested across the city about what it thinks to grow neighborhood economies. These are people from housing, retail, investments, and just a resident or community leader, and talk about the nuances and sometimes why it's so difficult to grow a main street in West Baltimore, right? Or why it's so difficult to get rid of vacant housing when they're hyper-focused in some communities. I think I'm proud of the fact that, we can think about the fact that, that legacy grandma who's been beating the streets for 60 years in her community can come into a room with a 25-year-old who's picking up the baton, right? And they can talk about how to learn from each other on the journey, right? Where the mentor in the network who was just my family grew up in West Baltimore 4 generations ago, so I still have a heart for it, but I don't really drive through, can still be in that same table and have a conversation about their love for Baltimore and how they can support from wherever they are in their life right now. I think those spaces, we need more of that in Baltimore. So that's going to happen probably in the spring. I'm looking forward to that. We have our annual investor showcase usually in September. where we showcase a number of entrepreneurs that are seeking investments and then bring community around them too, both around financial capital, but also around community capital. Like, it's not just all about, I need to raise money. It's, I need to find space. I need a neighborhood partner to test out my service, in a way that allows me to do some of that early MVP. Like, there are many different ways entrepreneurs need resources, and we can't keep saying only investors in this room, financial investors, and then that's it, right? Everybody should be in the same room and thinking about it from a holistic, integrated manner. This is a closed one, but we launched an annual social entrepreneur retreat for entrepreneurs in our system last summer. It was really fun. 3.5 days out on the Eastern Shore, all expenses paid, put everybody on a bus and just go out and allow entrepreneurs to just be joyful for a few days and kayak and jump off zip lines. And I mean, the work is difficult. So to be able to watch founders just relax for a couple of days with no agenda, no instructions, no spreadsheets, just be still and build community. And I'm looking forward to that. That was therapy for me, quite frankly. There are a couple of other things, but we're gearing up for a pretty amazing 2025. I don't know if I can say this just yet. We're probably launching our fund 2 early in Q1 of next year. Our first fund, we closed, oversubscribed. We've already deployed 2/3 of the capital, and it's time to get out on the streets again and go find some more money. So that's a big one for 2025. I'm trying to gear up for our next raise, because I think we do a lot of good in Baltimore with that.
Amazing. And again, Innovation Works Baltimore. Do you guys move into a new space?
Boy, by the end of this year, on December 31st, I'm going to be sitting in that space, hopefully. It may not be furniture, but I'm sitting in it. It was signed at least 2 years ago, and it's been 2 years of waiting for this space, and I think we're finally there. So it's going to be on West Baltimore Street. Looking forward to that, because again, physical space is important to build community, right? So we're looking forward to like opening up our space. So when a founder is like, I just want to go somewhere and hide for a couple of hours, like come here, go in a corner right there, put your headphones on, take a nap, do whatever. Or in a place to meet someone, yeah, come here. I'm looking forward to having a home where our founders that we support and mentors, community partners can like feel free to just come in and be themselves and be in community. So that's going to be our early 2025 celebration that we've been waiting for 2 years. Yeah,
I think this episode will come out around in 2025, or I don't know, I say it as if it's going to come out like 2025.
It's going to come out January.
Cool. Hopefully, when this is out, people can see it and have heard about it and be able to celebrate that new space. It's at IWBmore on Instagram as well. We have a great team. Your social media is there. Yeah, Jay Nwachu. Anything else? Email people. Any way else people can get in touch?
Yeah, I mean, you can email me. I'm backlogged, but yes, it's jay@iwbmore.org. LinkedIn is probably the social account that I use the most. So it's Jay Nwachu on LinkedIn. Those are really the two. And the socials, the team handles all that. You probably get a faster response in a lot of ways.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, your thoughts, and your overall analysis. This has been an amazing show at Why Y'all Working. I'm your co-host, Michael Agusanya.
Jay.
I appreciate you all.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right.